Welcome to Everyone Doodle. Today we're gonna draw a Pochacco holding some balloons. Let's get started. Open Procreate, click the plus sign, and I'm gonna choose square as my canvas size. I'm gonna start with a sketch first. Go to sketching and I'm gonna choose the 6B pencil for my sketch. I'm gonna use a brown color for the sketch, and I have my brush size at maximum. I'm now gonna draw a circle. Hold it, don't let go yet, and you'll be able to see that there's a menu to choose that I can change it to a circle. So now from the two sides of the circle, I'm gonna add the cheeks of Pochacco. So just like this, and I'm gonna draw its ears. So it's like a water drop shape, but pointing in different directions. And now the body and its arms and legs. So these are the arms, and then followed by legs, similar to the hands, but a bit bigger. And I'm gonna close the loop for the body. Don't forget a little tail for it. And now I realize the Pochacco is a bit too high up. I want to adjust the position. Click on this arrow and just move it so that it's more in the center. Now I'm gonna draw the balloons. So I'm gonna draw the string of the balloons, and then here some circle and a little triangle as the balloon. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's just a sketch, and it's good to have some overlap of the balloons as well. Again, I'm gonna adjust the whole sketch. Now I'm gonna connect the lines of the balloon. So maybe I'll add one more over here and one more on top. And now the face. To make the face cuter, you can have the features close to each other. So I'm gonna draw the eye here, and then another eye, and then the nose, which is actually on the eye level. Okay, so that's the sketch. It doesn't need to be perfect, it's just a guide for us. Now I'll go to layers and turn off the background color because I want to use white to color the Pochacco. In layers, click the plus sign to add a new layer. Drag it below the sketch. Now I'm going to use white. You can double click around this area to get white to color the face and body of Pochacco. Go to brushes, airbrushing. I'm gonna choose the medium brush for the coloring. Make the size of the brush a bit smaller Now I'm gonna color the face of Pochacco using the sketch as the guideline. I think this cheek is a little bit too big, so I'm gonna make it a bit smaller with a white color. Okay, now we have the head, and for the body, let's use another layer by clicking the plus sign and also drag it underneath the head layer. So again, following the sketch, I'm just gonna color the body of Pochacco in white. Now again, add another layer and choose brown, maybe a darker shade of brown, to color the ears of Pochacco. I'm gonna make the brush even smaller. It's okay if the color doesn't fit perfectly within an area because we're gonna outline all these color blocks at the end. And then another layer for the tail. Now let's color the balloons. I'm gonna add a new layer for the balloons at the very bottom, and I'm gonna use a range of different pastel colors for the balloons, and you can choose whatever colors you like. So I'm gonna start with pink. I'm gonna follow the sketch and outline the circle and actually drag and drop into this area to fill up the whole balloon. So this is easier. I'm gonna use pink here as well. Now I'm gonna choose some light blue. Again, I'm gonna outline the shape, drag and drop the color into here. I'm gonna use blue here as well. Now I'm gonna choose some yellow. Because my balloon layer is underneath the ears layer, so even if I color the whole balloon here, the ear is still going to be on top. So it's good to have separate layers for your coloring. Oh, actually don't forget all these little triangle, which is the knot of the balloon. And I'm gonna hold and pick the pink again and draw it here. Hold and pick the blue. So going back to yellow again. I'm gonna use yellow here. And finally I'm gonna choose some light green for the rest. Okay, so now let's lower the opacity by clicking the end here of this layer. So you'll see that pretty much you have all the color blocks. So again, some of the color blocks are not perfect. It's fine because we're gonna outline everything. which is what we're going to do now, and also draw its features. In Brush Library, go to Sketching and choose Studio Pen. And I'm going to use the dark brown to outline the Pochacco. Go to Layers. On the very top, add a new layer for the outline. So now I'm gonna test if the brush size is okay. So let's just draw. Okay. So let me double tap and undo it because I actually prefer a thicker line. But you can trial and error and see which kind of style do you like best with the most appropriate brush size for you. Okay, so this is maybe a bit too thick. I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. And now this is good. So let me expand the canvas a little bit by zooming in. And now I'm gonna just follow the sketch layer and make the outline. Don't forget the hair at the very top. I prefer to leave some gaps in the outline. I think it will make it a bit cuter, but it's entirely up to you. Now outline the body. I'm actually going to use a lighter shade of brown to outline the ears and the tail. Otherwise, the outline wouldn't be obvious. And you can rotate the canvas to make it easier for you to draw as well. Okay, so I can see that there's a little gap here as well. And I'm gonna go back to that ear layer and then pick this color and fill the gap. So let me pick this lighter shade of brown again. Now I'm gonna outline the tail as well. Make sure that you're back at the outline layer at the very top. Adding some little lines here as well to make it look a bit more fluffy. So zoom out. Okay, now I'm gonna draw the face. I'm gonna use a new layer and make sure that I'm picking this dark brown color from the outline, and I'm just gonna follow the sketch. Nose. Okay, so apparently the left eye is a little bit too big, so I can always just adjust the left eye even though they're all on the same layer. So I'm gonna choose this and then freehand just gonna select this area and then click the arrow, uniform, and then make it a bit smaller. And I can also move the position of the eye. Okay, I think this is pretty good. So don't forget the balloons as well. Now I'm gonna add a new layer for that. And I'm gonna pick the deep brown color and then draw the line. I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn off this sketch layer that we drew at the very beginning. So now it's easy to see if there are any gaps or any adjustments that you need to make. So for the head, let's go to the head, choose white, make sure it's the head layer, and I'm gonna color this gap a little, and also here a little, here a little, and I'm gonna erase these extra parts here. For the eraser brush, I'm just gonna choose Studio Pen as well. Now go to the body layer and erase these extra parts. Okay, some tweaking needed in the balloons as well. So go to the balloon color layer. I'm gonna erase this piece. Okay, I think nothing more for me to erase, but I need to fill in some gaps. So I'm gonna pick the yellow and just fill the gaps. Pick the blue, fill the gap as well. Okay, now put on the background color again and choose a cute background color for it. So I'm gonna use some shade of beige ivory color for the background. Actually, let's make the Pochacco cuter by adding another layer. Make sure that it's on top of the head, the color block of the head, and then use pink to add some cheeks for it. And underneath it, I'm going to use a lighter shade of pink and draw some ovals. Okay, now let's some final touches to this drawing. So first of all, on top of the balloon color layer, I'm going to add a new layer and then use white to add some reflections. And now I'm going to add another layer again. Just make sure that it's above the background color. Then I'm going to use yellow to draw some sparkles and stars. I'm gonna use white as well to add some variety. And finally, I want to make the Pochacco pop a little more, so I'm going to add a colored circle right behind it. So add a new layer above background color and below the sparkles. Draw a circle, hold and don't release, and then you can use another finger to tap on the screen. Then you're going to have a very perfect circle. And you can click the arrow to move the circle a little bit and drag and drop this to this. So I'm using a shade that is a bit darker than a background color, and I actually want it to be even darker, so I'm going to drag and drop again. Okay, so now we have a Pochacco holding some balloons.